Thanks for having me, Martin. I'm the co-founder of SendtoWin. Just by way of introduction, I used to lead global marketing for Flutter at Google, and then I built and sold a couple different software companies. So I've been an entrepreneur for some time, and I actually started SendtoWin 4 years ago to solve an outbound problem that I faced myself with some of my past companies. So SendtoWin is a B2B outbound solution that powers lead generation on behalf of hundreds of companies. So everything from list building, copywriting, deliverability, and of course, the strategy. And now we work with hundreds of companies from, Fortune 500s and really big brands like Olipop, JLL, Conair, and SoulCycle to a lot of high-tech, high-growing startups that are looking to scale. In fact, we were actually the Apollo Partner of the Year last year, which we're very proud of. And, Apollo has always been central to us since the very beginning. And that's why, we're really proud to be here on stage with you guys today.
It's a great setup, and congrats on the last year. Put it into perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced before using Apollo to power a lot of your outbound?
In the very early days, we had to stitch a lot of tools together, and that can get really messy, especially when it comes to the lists. So we'd have to pull lists depending on the use cases because we run so many different types of campaigns, and that would result in a lot of incomplete info or really messy data, which would have to require us to go validate further or spend a lot more time and money to get the right data together. We also oftentimes, because we're managing so many campaigns for different types of companies, had to switch between, dozens of tools for each one of our brands. And that just was a huge headache. And so, before Apollo, it was just not as fun, I guess.
Yeah. And you've been working with Apollo for a few years now. How's that evolved? What has stood out the most kind of with the way the product's evolved and over those years? And then what was the ultimate turning point, I guess, over those years to go all in on Apollo as your core solution?
We've actually been, very close to Apollo very early on. I remember me and my co-founder were with your CEO, Tim, on a call talking about early product features and with the product team as well, Matt and Tyler, who are great, and you guys met earlier today. And what really stood out from the beginning is your guys' product reliability and always the constant innovation that we see. Apollo has always been this kind of central hub that has a lot of trusted core technology, because if you don't trust that base layer technology that you're kind of using for things, and can all just fall apart. And also just the more accurate data, as mentioned, instead of having all this incomplete data everywhere, Apollo is just such a trusted source when it comes to the data that we can get across, the 70, 80 different industries that we're operating in. And one of the biggest wins, especially, it's Tech Week, everyone's talking about AI, is how Apollo has actually evolved with AI and has incorporated AI so much into the product. We've been using a lot of the AI tools at Apollo to do simple things like, hey, is this company B2B or B2C? To a little bit more complex, like how many number of offices do they have, or what is their actual Google review when you look up the business?
Can you go into a bit more detail then on what are some of those campaigns that specifically the AI has unlocked and enabled you to do?
Yeah, I'll give a couple examples. So the first one, we obviously use our own tool for ourselves to source new business. And, who's a good fit for SendtoWin? Well, it's any company that has maybe some product market fit, B2B, and is really looking to grow or get more brands onto their platform. And so what we did is we said, all right, well, a lot of companies in Y Combinator are just that. They raise money, they have product market fit, and they want to scale. So what we did is first we actually went and looked up a list of all the companies within the YC kind of batches for the last, let's say, 10 years. And then we actually used the AI research to say, okay, out of all these, which ones are B2B and have at least raised a Series A or beyond? Meaning, they're achieving that level of acceleration where they might want to really accelerate their leads with us, with SendtoWin. And then we use waterfall enrichment to verify a lot of those emails to actually get, to make sure we have really good data for the people reaching out to, because it is somewhat of a limiting batch, right? So you want to make sure that you can send to all of them correctly. And then finally, we actually added even more AI research data, like what batch are they in, or what industries are they a part of, or things to be able to personalize the email even further. So that's one example of one we ran for ourselves. Another example is a customer we had that does review management software. So things like managing your Google and Yelp reviews and kind of your 1-star or poor reviews. Instead of just pulling random businesses, what we did is we actually pulled companies that already have pretty poor Google reviews. And we went a step further and actually found the review itself, what is like an example of a 1-star review that they got, and then summarized it. And that was really nice because we can get very specific to these businesses, not only that they have poor reviews, but give an example of one of those reviews.
Can you give us a glimpse into some of the performance you saw? Like those are really targeted, really personalized campaigns, so I imagine they perform quite well.
Absolutely. And we call it personalization at scale because at the end of the day, it's really important to run these really, really specific campaigns. So the Y Combinator one, for example, we actually sent around 300 emails and I got 38 positive replies out of those 300 emails. And then we actually ended up getting 6 closed won deals this year. So 6 current customers of ours through that campaign alone. So if you do the math, that's a 2% email to win rate, which is, more than even the typical email to reply rate that people see sometimes. So that's definitely a really great example of how being specific can cause those good results. And then for the review management one, we actually saw about 25 to 35% higher positive reply rates when we used the specific reviews and when we called out that specific pain point rather than a generic, hey, we noticed you have bad reviews, or hey, here's how we can help you. And then I would say overall, using some of Apollo's enrichments, we see a 30 to 40% more just general coverage on the lists that are valid versus, using some of these external lists.
Some of those stats are saying like the email to win, that's like an order of magnitude higher than the benchmarks that I typically see.
Yeah.
And any final insight to share with the room?
We're really excited to be here. I think AI in sales is a really big game changer, and it's allowed us to be more efficient and drive a lot of performance for us and our clients. And yeah, we're really excited to keep growing alongside tools like Apollo. And if you are a B2B company looking for a team that can come in fractionally and run all of your top of funnel, feel free to check us out at SendtoWin.com, and we'd love to have you.
Right. Thanks, Mark.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.